Welcome to the Making of an Exception podcast. My name's Kurt Graham, and we got a special guest today, a dear friend, Robert Blanton Jr.
Yes.
And he is the founder and the owner of Kitty Academy, happening out in Edina, Minnesota. And he also happened to play some football.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Which is awesome.
Yes, sir. I wouldn't say Kitty Academy is a franchise, though.
Yeah, you don't own Kitty Academy.
Nah, just the one in Edina.
Just the one in Edina. No, but it's running. And Robert Blanton, known him for, 2 years now?
Yeah, about 2 years.
And getting to hear
flies.
your journey and your story, just how you were raised, life you've lived, which is a life that I know nothing about, like football life. I mean, I like watching football, but I don't know the world you live in. So like even talking, the world that you've lived in is insane, yet you've come out of football and are living a successful life. You know, you got a great family, you got a good head on your shoulders. You're more than just a football player, but you started a successful business, all this stuff. And so, we're going to talk all about that. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me, man. I'm pumped.
Yeah, we're stoked about it. Tell us about Kitty Academy. It's like starting out where you're at right now. How did you get into it? What is it? And why are you doing a daycare in Edina?
Yeah, so life's a journey, and so is Kitty Academy. It's been a journey and a process. So as of today, we're doing great. We have 22 staff. My wife and I kind of run the day-to-day operations, and then we have a director. We have about 100 kids enrolled right now.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And it just started this last fall.
Yeah, so we opened September of 2018.
Yep.
So we're in our 5th month. And we're pretty blessed. We're pretty fortunate, I think, to have 100 kids right now enrolled. Out of the 100 we have enrolled, 75 have started.
Yep.
So we have some future Kitty Academyers coming in pretty soon too, which is exciting. And we're still growing. Yeah. And that's kind of the hardest part of anything, I think, is growing and managing that. And
what does it look like? Like it's daycare, but it's also like academic building kids, like they come 5 days a week.
So they come 5 days a week. So it is a preschool. The franchise does an amazing job. They provide the curriculum. Yep. It's a nationally accredited curriculum. It's vetted by top scholars every year. And that's, I would say, the bread and butter is having a curriculum, something national, something that has an accreditation and some validity behind it that holds weight. So that was kind of why we bought into the franchise. We also have a curriculum called Kinder Music, which is amazing as well. So Kitty Academy partnered with Kinder Music. So there's like these educational music classes for kids that we do.
No way.
Well. Yeah. And then we provide some extracurricular activities. We provide one called Soccer Shots. They're pretty big in the Minneapolis market. So they come in and teach kids soccer lessons once a week. We have this other thing called High Tech, High Touch. They come in and do once a month, and they do like a cool science experiment with the kids. So they'll do like in January they came out, they brought like a dead fish. They brought, you could feel the scales of the fish. Then they, help the kids make scales. They went fishing, kind of things like that. They bring in these outside activities that kids can do in the school. But my wife and I were kind of going around looking for childcare because I do have 2 kids. And I was not impressed.
How old are they? You got Jack. And
So Jack will turn 3 in March, and then Olivia's birthday's today. Happy birthday,
as
baby
we film
girl.
this.
Yeah. So she's pretty cool. Jack's amazing, and my daughter's just
Jack's wild.
Jack's a maniac. Jack's a
You were
maniac.
just saying you bought him Nerf guns.
I did. I made the mistake
everybody.
of buying him Nerf guns, and it's pretty fun for me and him. We'll go around and shoot each other in the house. We'll shoot my wife when she's not looking, and that's always pretty fun. She gets pretty ticked off. So whenever I can, get her going, it's a good day.
Yeah.
And so now he kind of drives in the car and he thinks he's a police officer, and he always finds people not doing the right thing, and he's gonna shoot them with his Nerf gun. So
he brings it with him in the car.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Now I'm taking him out of the car back into the house. Safety.
Yeah, totally. So you got 2 kids. You were looking for childcare. That's how, and you are a business guy. We'll talk about football in a little bit, but you are a business guy, and we'll talk about how you became a business guy. But you're looking for childcare, and then you found this opportunity. How'd you find out about Kitty Academy?
Yeah, so I was looking for childcare and wasn't really happy. Olivia actually wasn't born at the time. It was just my son, Jack. And I was playing in Buffalo for the Bills. And my wife's kind of looking for childcare because she was still working at Mall of America at the time. And I come home over the weekend during the off season, and we're looking at these places, and they're pretty expensive. Childcare is pretty pricey, as most people know.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at these facilities and the structure, and I'm like, man, this is kind of crap. I'm like, this is okay. I'm like, this one looks terrible. This one's average. And I look at my wife one day, and I was like, heck, we can do this, and we can do it much better.
Yeah.
And I usually think I can do pretty much anything, which is funny. But so we leave, and we kind of go around. But I get back to Buffalo, and I'm in the locker room, and guys in the NFL, there's a lot of really intelligent guys, a lot of guys that are doing things outside of the NFL.
Yeah.
And one of the guys' his name was actually James Ahedible, and he owns one in Savannah, Texas. I think it's called like Lakes of Savannah over in Texas. And he was talking to me about opening up, him and his wife starting this franchise, going with this franchise, Kitty Academy, and opening it up and getting it running. And honestly, I didn't think twice about it because we're in the NFL. We're running down, trying to destroy people and knock guys out. And
he's talking about
opening up a daycare, which I was like, dude, like this is a little conflict of interest here. Maybe we're knocking dudes out, trash talking guys, and And then, there's a softer side of, this loving and nurturing environment you're trying to provide for kids. So it was a little funny at the time when we were talking about in the locker room. And I didn't think twice about it. Yeah. I was like, who opens up a childcare center? Who opens up a daycare? Like, he's nuts. And then like a year later, after continuously looking for childcare for my son and seeing the demand for it in the lack of quality that was in there, I was like, heck, okay, I guess I'll talk to him again about opening up a childcare and see like how his journey's going so far.
Because it's also a legit business opportunity. Like it can fund your life.
It is
franchise.
Great investment.
Now you're looking at multiple locations.
Yep. Yeah, it's a great investment. So that was kind of the first thing I thought. I've always been a numbers guy. I got my degree in finance. So numbers just kind of made sense to me. So the first thing I was like, what's the numbers? How does it
show
look?
Me the books,
how much, is it profitable? How much does it make? Is it worth my time? I always kind of associate what I'm doing with a number, and does the number make sense for how much time I have to put into it?
Yep.
If I want to do it or not, and if not, I don't. If the numbers make sense, I was like, okay, I'll do it. In this case, the number made sense. Plus, I get to hang out with my kids. Every day too, and provide them a great environment to go to. So it kind of all just made sense. But it kind of started Kitty Academy. The idea and knowledge of Kitty Academy actually started in the NFL in a locker room conversation. And then turned into this 19,000 square foot building we have today. But,
it's awesome.
Originally it started with me thinking, who opens up a daycare?
Well, and I know you well enough to know, because I remember when your wife got pregnant the first time, and you were like, "Oh no, like this is crazy. We're about to have kids," and now you're taking care of 100 kids.
Yeah, my wife wants like a ton of kids. I was like, I'm good. We don't need any kids. I like having the freedom to do whatever we want, whenever we want. Those things kind of change a bit with kids, as you know. Family kind of comes first. So you got to put you just can't move as quick. You move slower. I got to pack my bags, and then I got to pack my kids' bags. And, I got to buy my flight, and I got to buy my kids' flight. Things just move a little slower. So not as fast paced as I like. And then my wife's like, oh yeah, more kids.
Let's keep going.
I'm like, no, you're nuts.
Yeah, it's awesome. How long have you been married now?
So we've been married for a year. And a half.
Yeah. It's been a crazy journey. You got 2 kids, man.
Yeah, 2 kids. I thought we did it the right way too. I was like, always have kids and then get married,
Why do you think that?
You get to test out the kids first to see if you still like each other after having kids. And if so, then you could say, okay, we can get married.
Yo, that's insane. that logic is crazy, bro. But for you guys, now you guys are married, and Erin's amazing, and your family's awesome. And you said she works at the Mall of America, but she does contract stuff, doing social media for the entire mall, right?
Yeah. So right now she runs their social media fashion page, their MOA style account. So we're actually just talking about fashion before we got on here. She thinks she's really stylish.
Yeah.
I think I inspire her to be stylish, of course, as I have the eye. She just kind of wears it. But yeah, so she runs their MOA style account for Mall of America. She does a great job with it. She's kind of building it up, and yeah, it's really good. And then outside of that, she does a lot of the enrollment and marketing for Kitty Academy as well.
Yeah, it's awesome. Most people that will watch this interview or listen to it, they want to hear about all the football stuff,
Yeah, for sure.
And just the life that you lived in that. And so I'd love to just talk about, your journey, specifically with football. I mean, you went to Notre Dame, and then you played for the Vikings originally, and you played for a couple teams as well. And at 28 years old, you've retired from football, essentially. But how did you get into it? At what point did you find out, I'm pretty good at this?
Oh man, well, I started playing soccer when I was I used to live in Aviano, Italy.
Yeah.
For 3 years. So
I did not
there
know
was
that.
no football. Yeah, there was no football over there. And this was when I was from like 7 to 10.
Why were you living over there?
My mom got remarried, and my stepdad then got stationed over to an Air Force
military
base.
stuff. Yep. Yeah.
And so it was soccer and karate.
Yeah.
And I was like, if you would have asked me, I was like, a really good soccer player.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
We're going to talk about your confidence in a little while too.
Yeah. I wouldn't say I was like David Beckham or anything, but maybe more a Cristiano Ronaldo type guy. I'm messing with you.
No.
But yeah, so I played soccer growing up until I was like 10. And then we moved back, and I played AAU basketball and football. And I really didn't pick up like real competitive, like, okay, football's like where it's going to be until I got to North Carolina in, 6th grade.
Yeah.
And even in like 6th and 7th grade, I kind of didn't think of, I guess when you're that young and moving around in the military, I never thought, because I just never thought I was going to play in the NFL. It wasn't like I grew up saying like, oh, my dream and my goal is to be in the NFL. I was just like, I just want to be the best football player. For some, that was my thought. I was like, I'm the best. I'm going to be the best football player.
That I feel like that has been kind of who you are in every area. Like whether it's this business stuff that you're doing now, like even how you learn, like you talk about your degree in finance, but since we've known each other, you're always like, yo, what book are you reading? What book, like, well, let's do it together. Let's read this next book. And then what's next? You're always like there's something in you that says, I want to be the best, and like, is that since you can remember, or like, did it get drilled into you? Were you taught that to think that way? Like, hey, if you're going to do it, lead the way in it.
Yeah. I come from a really competitive family. Like, if you come over on Christmas or Thanksgiving, we're playing spades, cards, dominoes. Yeah. We're outside playing against each other in basketball. And I would honestly say my entire family is extremely competitive.
Yeah.
And I always grew up in this competitive environment, especially with my older sister, older cousins. Like, if you ain't the best, you usually get made fun of. You get talk trash. They'll talk trash to you if you're not the best. So you have to compete to be the best if you want to, be able to have a good day, right?
Yeah.
If not, it's going to be a tough day in the household. So I think I just kind of grew up in that competitive environment, and that that kind of molded me of just always wanting to be competitive, always wanting to push past a limit to continue to go and develop and be the best. Yeah.
Anybody that's watched a little bit of your career, they would know that you have no problem like in your confidence but also
Confidence
there's
is king,
there's
yeah.
but there's a difference between confidence and arrogance. And so what's that line for you in regards to being like super proud of yourself and like hyped on yourself, but also like which would be like lean into like this arrogant attitude versus like, no, I'm confident in who I am. Like there's things that you'll say about yourself that most people feel uncomfortable to say, probably because of like their own insecurities actually. But you talk about yourself like in a confident way and you got no issue with it, but it's not like, had it been arrogance like back in the day? Is it not now? Like, what is that? Like the line between confidence and arrogance?
Well, I would definitely say if you're arrogant, you're boastful, proud of yourself. I wouldn't say I'm super proud of everything I've done. I always think I can do better. So when I look back on a situation, I'm confident that I can do better. I'm not proud of what I did.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the difference. And I think that's how I'm still able to open up Kitty Academy and like push to be the best and not sit back and think like, oh yeah, I've had a great, I played in the NFL, I made some money. I can kind of sit back and relax. I'm not proud of it. I think like, man, I could have been a lot better.
Yeah.
When I wake up and I go to Kitty Academy, man, we can be a lot better. And I think my confidence is that I'm just confident that I can be better.
Yeah.
Right. It's not confident that I'm confidence and I'm proud of what I've done because I don't think about it. I'm not really that proud. I think I can be better. The confidence on my end is like, man, I can be better. I can be better than what I'm doing right now. And I'm confident that I can be better. And it motivates me and it encourages me like, all right, I'm going to get up and be better today.
I've never thought about it like that. Like that confidence can be more forward thinking. Like I can be better. Like let's do better today. Like today's great. Like I'm going to do it today. Like I'm going to be better. Arrogance would be more like past thinking. Like,
that's how I see it.
I lived it up. I was this, I did that. Like I'm amazing,
Yep.
And it's interesting. There are a lot of people in your shoes, now you're 29 and there's people in that same boat that even they weren't in the NFL as long as you were. And they're like, their life is over, like, and it might have to do with some of that stuff. It's like, I was the man, I had all this, and now like, what am I supposed to do with my life? Obviously these guys and there's people that out there living like that. Like, how did you make the jump from playing in like the highest level of football there is on the planet to now not losing your life? You got a family that you love, you got a business that you're building, you got purpose. Like, how did you make it? And there's other guys that are not making it.
Sometimes I think going to Notre Dame was a great benefit. They always say it's like a 40-year decision rather than a 4-year. You get a lot of exposure when you go to different places.
Yeah.
You meet people of different economic classes, different cultures, and you just get it. And I think at a young age, especially going to Notre Dame, I was experienced to other sides of life outside of football.
Yeah.
Some guys, they go to a predominantly football school and it's all football. They don't care much about academics. The only thing you're separated. Football players have their own dorms. They have their own cafeteria. Where Notre Dame, you're
with everybody.
Yeah. My roommate was a student.
Yeah.
Was a regular student. You know what I'm saying? Some of my best friends at Notre Dame were regular students because that's who we hung out with. They didn't separate the football players or anything like that. So you were exposed to guys who were up till 3 a.m. studying for a econ exam.
Yeah.
You were exposed to guys that would, say, hey, come hang out on the lake with us this weekend. And you'd be like, oh my gosh, like people live in lake houses like this. How'd your parents do this? And like, oh, my parents own a grocery bag company where they make plastic bags. So you started to see like, oh my gosh, there's different ways to make money outside of sports.
Yeah.
Whereas a young kid, when I grew up, for me, it was all sports.
Yeah.
And when I got to Notre Dame, my thinking kind of started to change. And I was like, all right, maybe it'd be pretty cool to get a degree. And because there's life after football. And then when I got in the NFL, I went to the University of Miami during the offseason. They had this program in the NFL, and I went and got my master's degree. So now I'm with a lot of like-minded guys, NFL guys who play in the NFL, are played in the NFL, but are making money in doing things outside of the NFL, off the field. And I would say I know guys that have made more money off the field, outside of football, and I know guys that I know who have just retired who will make more money off the field
because of their mindset, because their culture. They have that same experience.
Yeah, they just know that there's so much more to life than playing football. At 16,
crazy.
18, 19,
you
at
don't
22,
feel that way,
at 23, at 25, like it's football. You're immersed in it. There's nothing you can do to really get out of it, except for sit back, surround yourself with guys who are older than you and know there's a world outside of this place.
So back to your journey in, you moved to North Carolina. You say, I'm playing football. I'm going to be the best. And how'd you go from there?
Yep. Played. I was okay. I was okay in Pee-wee football, I guess is what you call it at 12 years old. Is that what it is? Pee-wee foosball. Yeah. And then I played, and this is no joke, I was actually in JROTC. And when I think back on JROTC, we had like this goal sheet where we write down like goals. And I wrote down when I was a sophomore in high school. When I was a sophomore in high school, that was the first time I actually was told to write down a goal.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny. Kids should be taught to write down goals way before then. But my sophomore year in high school, I wrote down a goal like, I wanted to play in the NFL.
Yeah.
So the first time it was a goal for me to play in the NFL was my sophomore year, which was the first year I got my first college offer was from...
You're 16 years old?
Yeah, it was the summer of my sophomore year. We went up to Michigan and I went to this camp and got a college offer to go to the University of Michigan, which was pretty cool. Funny story, and I'm not joking. At this time, I didn't know I needed to go to college. I thought I could just go from high school to the pros.
And that was your goal?
Yeah.
So you just I didn't know the
process. Yeah, I didn't know the process or the journey to go from high school football player to being in the NFL. I was just like, I'm going to be in the NFL. I didn't say I want to go to college and then I want to go to the NFL. I was just like, I'm going to the NFL. And didn't really know the process nor understand what that was until I was like a junior.
So then you're a junior, and did you get offers from multiple places? Like obviously you didn't go to Michigan.
Yeah. By my junior year, I probably had 40 offers or so. So
what?
They started piling on. Yeah. High school's funny. Like if one school offers you, another school will offer you, and sometimes they'll just offer you because another school offers you, and next thing you know, you got 20 offers within, you get, if you live in a state and you're really good, you'll get every school in that state who offers you. So I had NC State, Chapel Hill, Wake Forest.
So how do you go about deciding then? For you got 40 offers on the table. Are you then doing research on like the coaches, did you fly up to a bunch of places? Like how did you pick Notre Dame?
Yeah, so I was about 99% sure I was going to Virginia Tech. I liked Frank Beamer. I went to Virginia Tech. It's a pretty cool spot. I kind of wanted like a big time football program, but like a small town school atmosphere where everybody was kind of close knit. Yeah. Virginia Tech to offer that. And I was pretty much going to Virginia Tech. They had a lot of history for sending out great defensive backs into the NFL. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to Virginia Tech. Charlie Weiss calls up the phone. They're like, hey, come to Notre Dame before you commit. Just check it out. So we drive up to Notre Dame. It's a lot like it is today. It's cold. It's snowing in India. And this is like April.
Yeah.
We go to like Notre Dame in April, and it's like cold and snowing. And the roads are closed, so there's detours. They were doing some construction on Notre Dame campus. They're always doing construction there, so there's always a different route you got to take. And we pull up, and I'm not joking. I have no idea, but like you just get this feeling when you pull up to places. And I pull up to Notre Dame, and I'm like, holy smokes, like this feels like home. Like as I'm driving up, I'm looking, and I'm like, oh man, this feels like home. And then the next day, I'm sitting out on the bench. I'm sitting out on this bench outside the Guglielmiano Center at Notre Dame. It's like the football complex. I'm sitting out there, and it's still kind of cold, but the sun's like hit me on the face, and I like lean back, and I'm like chilling, and I'm like, I was like, all right, I guess I'm gonna come to Notre Dame now.
No way.
Yeah. So I get back to North Carolina and commit to Notre Dame, and next thing you know.
Did you do like a little press briefing? Did you like put the hat on and do all that?
No, I did. That's much more prevalent now than when I was coming out.
Yeah.
A few guys would do like, the signing day videos and commits and things like that. When I was coming out, I think guys just kind of signed and called it a day,
and then showed up.
Yeah.
So then you go to Notre Dame and you're playing. And what position did you play?
So I played corner in college.
Corner in college, but that's not what you played in the NFL.
Yeah, I got moved to safety in the NFL. I should have been more headstrong, right? Kind of like that confidence mindset, like, I should have, I could have been better. But I played corner at Notre Dame.
And then after Notre Dame, you played there for 4 years?
So I played at Notre Dame for 4 years. I really didn't start full time until my senior year at Notre Dame. So when I got there as a freshman, I played a little bit. There were always some older guys. There was always a few older guys ahead of me. And then, of course, there were always a couple coaches that thought they were smart, that weren't that smart, that thought someone else was better than me kind of thing.
Yeah.
Sports are competitive, and coaches aren't always the smartest guys in the world. But
did any of the guys ahead of you go to the NFL?
One did, yeah. And he was actually a good player. He was an older dude. He was a good player, so he went to the NFL. The other ones did not, though.
Yeah.
So it was him and me. And he was a good player. He played, I think he played a few years as well. So
separate question is, we were talking before, and I was like, I'm taller than you, and I weigh more than you. I've told you this 14 times.
Yeah.
But there's no way I could play in the NFL. Were you small, like in your position? But you have this, like, you go out there ready to die, not to die, ready to kill somebody, like out on the field. Like, one, were you small and that like caused you to have like this different drive than other people? Were you average size? Like, I don't know, like literally I know nothing about what it's like being a corner. Or
I would say when I first got into Notre Dame, I was pretty small. I was like 100 and I think when I first weighed in, I was like 160 pounds in college.
and you had 40 offers.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I mean, we jacked the stats up on like my profile tape. I think I was like, 6'2", 185 or something, super fast, that we'd send out to the colleges. But when I got in there, I remember I weighed in, I was like 160. And I couldn't even bench like 125 pounds.
What?
And
how are you playing D1 football?
I'm telling you, I thought I was going to the NFL at 160, not benching 225. And and I actually played my freshman year. I had 2 picks, pick 6, played well. And I probably was, I might have been 165 then.
Yeah.
But a lot of, you learn a lot, and a lot of that stuff is just mental. You got to be able to say, F it, and go run through a guy. Like, you just got to be like, all right, it's him or me.
And it was never you.
Nah, it's him or me.
No,
yeah.
You didn't have any. Did you have any major injuries in your career?
No, not until my last year in Buffalo when I tore a ligament at the bottom of my foot. And that didn't even come from hitting anyone. That was like really weird. Injuries are stupid. Wear and tear, you never know. But yeah, it's when you're going to tackle a guy, covering people as a corner, most of your job is just covering. So pretty smooth and easy. You don't need to be that big. You don't need the size and the meat for that. But definitely when I got into the NFL, you wanted to put on a little weight as you were hitting, doing a lot more hitting. Angles are different too. So like tackling at corner, there's different angles you take where they don't see you, so you can get them. Safety, it's more head-on collisions. Where corner is more side angle, so you don't need as much weight. But by the time I was a senior in college, I was like 195. So I put on 30 pounds
of just muscle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy. So you're about to graduate Notre Dame. At what point did you know, like, there's a chance, like you're getting calls? Like, how does that work? Like when you're graduating college to go to the NFL?
So in 10th grade, I knew I was going to the NFL. I told you that. I wrote it down.
I know.
I knew I was going.
I know.
It was funny. I'm sitting down. This is the summer going into our senior year.
Yeah.
They were talking to a guy that I played with, and they were like, "Oh, you're gonna go to the combine." They were talking up this guy like, "It's gonna be you. You're gonna be the guy." And I'm sitting there listening, and in my head, I'm like, "You're nuts.
Yeah.
It's gonna be me.
Yeah.
I'm that guy." And anyways, the guy they were talking up, he didn't make it. It was me. So yeah, I ended up making it. So just kind of having that self-belief is important. But anyways, I ended up making it. We go to the combine. Terrible. I think the combine is awful because you just stay up. I think I was up to like 3 a.m. and then I had to get up at like 7.
Yeah.
And you got to go do these tests. And so you don't get rest. A little bit of an unrealistic environment, but it's good to go to, show face. You get to meet a lot of the teams, coaches, but just kind of just stuck in a hotel. You get a lot of free gear, which is cool. There's some cool aspects of it, but as far as like being in like optimal prime level to go out and like compete and perform, it's definitely not the ideal situation. But it is, cool experience to be at the combine.
And people, people get to see you and all that.
Yeah, really cool.
So after that, like at what point, because you go to the Vikings, like how do you like?
Yeah, so on draft day, I'm kind of sitting there watching, and I wasn't sure where I'd get drafted.
Yeah.
Or if I'd get drafted.
You're just hanging out at your house with your family?
Dude, I'm helping my sister move. My sister was moving into a new house. So honestly, I'm not joking. Me and my brother-in-law were like holding a washer machine, like walking the washing machine into the house, and my phone rings. So we have to set down the washing machine. I pick up the phone, and the Vikings call, and I believe it was Rick Spielman, and they were like, "Hey, we're gonna draft you. We'd love to have you." So I was pretty pumped. I was excited. And I wasn't at home. My mom's at home, and she sees it going across the ticker. She sees it on the screen on TV and stuff. So everyone calls, and then the next day we kind of threw like a big barbecue and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it was a pretty neat experience. But I guess that kind of goes back to confidence and kind of being arrogant.
Yeah, totally.
I'm moving a washer and dryer, but I knew I was going to go to the NFL.
Yeah, I think there might be people out there that would, like, if they know your name or follow your journey, they go, "Oh yeah, he's arrogant or he's all about himself," but they don't know, like they don't know that you were moving a washer and dryer on draft day.
Yeah,
it's crazy, dude. Yeah, but you had this confidence too, like it's gonna happen. Like I know it's gonna happen, and you wrote it down. And it's crazy too. And we'll talk about faith and your upbringing too. But like a lot of how you've lived your life, even maybe before knowing it had any backing, like in the faith world, is like this confidence in knowing who you are, speaking things out like that, like believing in faith, these things are going to happen, writing things down. All this stuff has like biblical backing, and it's crazy that you've lived your life this way. And it's all like come true, and then faith, I think, you can talk about how you were raised, but and kind of where you're at today, like on this journey. And that's why I love having you here. But it's just crazy that maybe even without even realizing it, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that you lived your life with some of these great like biblical principles, which is crazy, and they've proved themselves true. It's like wild.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
My spiritual or religious journey is much different.
What was family life like in regards to faith growing up? Like, so your middle school, high school.
Middle school and high school I would say was pretty non-existent.
Yeah.
I dated a girl and her mom took me to church, but you kind of go to church to date the chicks, right? Like, okay, that's kind of how it goes back in that.
There's for sure guys going to church just to meet a girl. Like that's 100% true. I'm not saying I'm an advocate of that, but I do believe, yeah, the best place to find your spouse is in church, no doubt.
Church or Target.
Okay. Okay.
One or the other.
Now I'm gonna look at every single guy at Target as like a creep. Like,
yeah.
Freak. I mean, get out of here.
There's probably quality women in church and Target. It's probably like if a girl's shopping at Target.
If you see this, I would say if you see the same girl at church and at Target.
Classic. Yeah.
Okay. So it's non-existent. Faith is non-existent growing up besides your girlfriend's mom.
So when I remember I have like these snippets when I was younger. So when we lived in Portland, Oregon, we used to go to church, and all my family lived in Portland at the time.
Yeah.
My mom, my dad, my aunts, uncles,
Yep.
my grandma, she was still alive then. And I remember like everyone would get dressed up, you'd put on your suit for Easter Sunday. Like you'd get dressed up. I remember like when people actually dressed up to go to church.
Oh yeah.
Like suits and ties, like that was the thing. Now we kind of just come in, we're chill.
Yeah.
But that was like when I was younger, like 7, 6, much younger. As I got older, I think our family kind of dispersed and separated, and so did faith kind of separated.
Yeah.
Within there. So growing up, there was kind of not much. And I always got the question, was I Catholic? Because I went to Notre Dame, and I was like, no, I'm not Catholic. Like, are you pretty religious? And I'd be like, no, not really.
Not really, yeah.
Like it wasn't my thing. As I think about it, excuse me. As I think about it, some people can talk, and they're really good talking about being religious and going to church. And then there's some people who just live their lives in a good manner that would say like, oh, this dude probably is a good believer, but and I would say I was the guy who just kind of lived a good life. I tried to do what was right. And typically those things are, what people preach about and talk about being religious. But I didn't show up and go to church and make it a thing. I just was like, this is the right thing to do. So do it. Yeah.
So you were raised in a way that helped mold you, just like live in a good, like just be a good person.
Yeah, my mom was very loving. So kind of growing up, it was my mom and my sister were my main people that I talked to. Me and my sister are best friends. So I was molded by strong women, which was great. Yeah. And I was always in a loving and nurturing environment. So when you come out, and in my eyes, God is loving and nurturing. And if you just see people that way, to be loving and nurturing, or just to be kind and be cool.
Yeah. It's a lens gentle. Of who God is.
Yeah. Like if you do those things, you kind of naturally fall into it.
Yeah.
And I would say I just naturally fell into those things.
Do you feel like that's part of who you are? Words like loving, nurturing, gentle, because there's a part of you too that can destroy some people.
Yeah. So depends on the day, but I'm like loving. I would say I'm pretty loving and nurturing. I'm pretty kind. Like I just have a natural love for people.
Yeah.
Until I get in a car and I might get a little road rage or something like that. And I'm like, dude, I might lose it every blue moon. But and then football, like just being in that competitive environment, I think allowed me to still be loving and gentle, right?
Yeah.
So I had a nice balance. So I was able to be like, just have like a natural love and for people and be kind, because I knew that in a couple hours I could go and be vicious.
Yeah.
And be an animal.
Yeah. One of the things I know is your dad is a Muslim, which is a completely different faith. There might be some stuff in there that you feel like is overlap with Christianity, but it's a completely different faith. So you had part of that as an upbringing, and now who you're married to now, Erin, she's amazing. Grew up in a faith-filled family. Go to church, and going to church has nothing to do really with salvation, although we believe like it's good to do life together. But your wife grew up in that environment. What has it been like in your guys' relationship and in your journey? Because this is like faith is a journey. Anybody listening, like we never just arrive, although as a pastor, I believe there is one way to salvation, one way to heaven, but it doesn't mean it's not about perfection. It's not about and so I know you're on this journey of faith. Your wife has been raised on a little bit different journey, and now you guys are married, raising your kids. I remember dedicating, you and your wife dedicating Jack. Like we want to raise them in the ways of the Lord. We want to raise them in church. This is who we want to be. How has that been with you and Erin, just in marriage too?
So starting out, and this is back when River Valley's campus was like poorhouse downtown.
Yeah.
So some time ago, Erin was really like trying to get me to go to church, and I was like,
You're
nah.
like not feeling it.
I was like, nah, I don't do that stuff. I was like, I'm good.
Yeah.
And she would ask me,
you guys weren't married yet?
No, we weren't married yet. but she thought it would be great for our relationship and to kind of, build a stronger foundation between us two to kind of have an event. I think sometimes relationships are good to be built off of like activities and in doing things and events rather than just hanging out at home or going to dinner every night. So I think she thought it would build the relationship and make it better. Where me at the time, I'm like, I'm good. Like, nah, like I was like, so she asked me like every weekend. And I was like, eventually I was like, all right, where's this place at? And she was like, Poorhouse. And I was like, you want to go to a church in Poorhouse? And she was like,
yeah. And if you don't know, Poorhouse is a bar downtown.
Yeah, it's a bar.
Like club at night, yeah.
And she's like, yeah, like look at the pictures, because guys would have pictures online. Like, look at the people, they're cool. I think we'd really fit in here and love it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not judgmental, but I just didn't want to go, so I had to be judgmental at this point to kind of back my reason for not going. I was like, listen, like, we can't go to a church if they're in Poorhouse. Like, it's a bar. Like, what are they doing? I was like, I bet the people who are in Poorhouse are probably just sleeping there and then waking up and getting the donuts at church for breakfast.
I'm gonna be honest, there was a couple people that did that. So there was definitely a couple people on couches when we showed up, set up. So, but you're saying it can't be a real church. It's not even the real thing because it's in a bar.
I was only saying that because I didn't want to go.
Yeah.
Honestly, I didn't care where it was. I just didn't want to go, right? And I guess somehow God tricked me because you guys moved it to Muse.
Yeah.
So Erin comes back and she's like, "Oh, there's no excuse now. They go to Muse." And I was like, Muse? I was like, the event center over there?
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, it's really nice. Like, they have the event center over in Muse. Like, we have to go. And I was like, fine.
Yeah.
So that was like me giving in. And I guess, guys, you got to give in to your wives every blue moon. So I'm like,
there's a lot of stuff happening every blue moon.
Every blue moon. So I'm like, all right, we'll go. And that kind of reawakened my passion for, God and gave me kind of a new passion for my wife and a respect for the journey that we're going on in our relationship. So it was pretty cool.
What was it like going to church for the first time? Had you ever been to a church like it? And also, like, you're leaving there, did you enjoy it? Was it like, man, this place, it's nice, but it's not,
Yeah, so I hadn't been to church for...
since the suit days.
Yeah. So, I hadn't been to church. I went to church a few times in high school, like I said, with the girl I was dating back then for brownie points and things like that. And then the church I've been to is Catholic church. So, it's like a routine. There's like a structured routine and process of how church goes in a Catholic setting, which being Catholic's not, I don't care either way what people are. It's just a different way church is set up. Compared to how at River Valley. So coming into River Valley I had never experienced anything like it. The tunes were great. Band was good. The atmosphere, the vibe was good. The message was good. We read books. We kind of had a little book club going for a while. So I'll actually sit back.
I'm still out here doing the book club, dude. I know where you've been, bro.
I'm late. I need to get back on it. But yeah, kind of coming in and just like listening to the message, and it was nice because it gave me and Aaron something to talk about again. Right? Which was nice in our relationship. We had something to talk about, something exciting to talk about, something positive to talk about,
something that also means something.
Yeah,
it's not
something.
Just, everything is this. All stuff's gone, But the stuff that at church, and I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but this is the stuff that this stuff lasts forever. Like how we raising our kids, and what do we want our legacy to be, and what faith are we gonna what faith is our family, and all that.
Yeah, and
that's how I feel,
and how we want our kids to see us as parents.
Yeah,
you're right. We would talk about buying a couch one day, and then you'd buy a couch. You talk about buying, some shoes one day. You buy shoes. But this was a much deeper conversation. This was much more intimate too. So I think, I don't think materialistic things are as intimate to talk with about your wife. Where me and my wife, we could have an intimate an intimacy that wasn't physical, but with, I guess God and other people. And then we actually met people through River Valley that we liked, that we were excited to go see on Sundays now, and ask them, oh, how's it going? And you just start to build new relationships. And it worked out great. Fortunately, it worked out great for us. My wife loved it. I didn't mind it so much. You got to think, my wife grew up, her parents still go to church every Sunday.
Yeah.
Go to church,
she grew up in it. Yeah.
Mine was a little different. My family believes in God. My mom's big on it. My family's big on it. We just don't go to church.
Yeah.
So
dude, I remember a weekend where I think Aaron was out of town and I saw you rolling in with Jack, just like you and Jack, and to me, that was like part of your journey of like, no, this is, I don't just do this now for my wife. This is something that I believe in. I'm trying to do. This is how I want to raise my kids. And I was jacked to see you and Jack coming to church.
Yeah, I like, Jack likes the music too. So he goes up there and he likes to, see everyone playing their guitars and pianos and the drums and instruments. I just think it was like, I don't know. I feel like it's a great, healthy environment for my son to be in.
Yeah.
He gets to, go and be around other people who are like-minded, care about their kids, want them to be in a great place, great atmosphere, a positive one.
Yeah.
So me and Jack did kind of stroll in there on some days when Aaron wasn't in, which was cool. And it was nice. It was kind of nice for me being a dad to do those things with my son.
Yeah.
So
yeah. No, you guys are doing it. And the whole thing, there's so much good that comes with church, but church is not the answer. Like following Jesus would be the answer. That's obviously I'm a pastor, so I'm pro church, but I'm more pro like allowing people on this journey. Like we're figuring this out, following Jesus. Like that's the journey. And that's where the answer is. That's where it all is. And so even in this conversation, we're not out there saying like, hey, church is but there's so much good that comes from it for sure.
Yeah. I think, my bad. I think it's great. Sometimes I tell my wife, I'm like, I might be bandwagon Jesus fan. Like sometimes, I'm like, I'm on the bandwagon when things are going great. I'm like, thank you, God. Like life's good. This is easy. And then when things are going bad, I'm like, Jesus, what's going on? Kind of. So definitely on the bandwagon sometimes, but that's part of the journey. That's part of, even in football, like there's days where you're just like, dang, this is a long day. And then game day comes around. You're like, I love this. You know what I'm saying? Like you get ready to cry on game days because you just love it so much.
Can't believe you get to do it. Yeah.
And then there's days when you're in training camp and it's 90 degrees and you're like, why are we doing this? And it's kind of like that same relationship I've kind of been going on this journey back and forth with my faith and with God. Some days I'm like, I got it. It's going to be a great day. Like this is going to be the day. And then there's other days I'm like,
he's nowhere to be found.
I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I tell my wife, I'm like, you must hate me right now. But but that's just like, and it's like that in all aspects of my life.
And that is real life too. And like following Jesus has nothing to do with like roses and everything's good all the time.
No,
it's the fact that he's with you in the middle of it and he's doing more than you think he is when you feel like he's nowhere to be found, and when everything's going wrong, he's doing more than you think he is in your life. And so, just watching your journey and being friends and just seeing you connect with so many other people, part of the church too. Like it is an inspiration. People like, there's people listening right now that are they're not going to church. They don't know what they believe. They're not, and that's all good. But like hearing your story and the journey, like it's okay to be it's okay to be real. It's okay to be authentic. It's okay to have days where it's like, Jesus is my main man. And there's days where it's like, I'm not even sure what I believe, like that's okay. Like it's the journey, Yeah,
it's the process. But the thing is like, it's okay. Because it's like that in every journey.
Every part of life.
Yeah, it's every part of life. Even, marriage, kids. I'm like, oh, my kids are great today. My son Jack's great. And then I'm like, man, this dude's a terrorist right now. Like, I was like, oh, how do I do it? And I tell my wife all the time, like, I don't know how you do it.
Wives are heroes, man.
Yeah, because some days I'm in there and I'm like, oh, it's easy. Kids are good. And next thing I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Here's a question for you. So I think it was your sophomore year, you were taught to write down a goal for the first time. What are some of the goals that you have now? Might be business stuff, family stuff, legacy stuff, financial stuff. But like, yeah, what are the goals that you're setting now? What are the things that you're dreaming about now for your future now that football's gone? Again, knowing that there's other guys out there, football's done and their lives are over. No doubt you've got vision for your life.
Well, the first goal, and I actually put it in my iPhone now. It kind of pops up as a reminder. My first goal is to be thankful.
Yes.
And this I want to help like keep me positive, because right now I'm on like a mission of like getting Kitty Academy up and running. So right now every day is like a grind, and I forget to say, oh yeah, I'm thankful for my staff and my employees. So like the first thing I actually wrote down was like, I'm thankful for my staff and employees. That's a goal, is just to let people know who work for me. Cause now I technically am managing people.
Yeah.
I have to let them know that they are valued.
Yep.
And that's a difficult thing to remember when you're on the grind of like, all right, I got to make sure I'm getting parents enrolled. I'm looking at opening up a new location, talking to people, paying the bills. Oh yeah. Don't forget to tell your teachers they're doing an amazing job.
Yeah.
And how thankful you are to have them. And then I do kind of turn that over to my wife. Yeah. To tell my wife that I'm thankful of her. Because sometimes I'll forget to do them. And those are like goals that for me are important, but I forget to do them every day. Yeah. So I like write them down. There actually is like a reminder on my phone. I think it pops up like every hour. Yeah. Be thankful for
every hour.
Yeah. It pops up every hour. But it doesn't just say be thankful. It says like be thankful for my amazing I'd have to pull it. It's like be thankful for my amazing staff and how so it's like very detailed. So that's the first thing I think about when I write down a goal, is it needs to be detailed. Because if you just say be thankful, it kind of leaves it as like,
it's just open-ended.
What does that mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very, very detailed, very specific. The other goals is just finding out ways to give back more. And then I am trying to get like an internship. So I got that written down too. Find like a good internship that works well with my schedule.
Like you want to be an intern with somebody that's living.
Yeah. In the venture capital.
Intern with me, dude.
Like
Let's get it, dude.
Yeah, I might need to.
No, but business. Yeah. Somebody that's
so
living
on
big
the business end,
yeah.
I have like trying to get a venture capitalist internship or internship with a financial institution that kind of works around the Kitty Academy schedule.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Building on that knowledge.
As we wrap it up, 2 quick questions. What's your favorite book you've ever read?
My favorite book, I'm not joking, I always tell people to read it, is it's called The Alchemist. I don't know why I like The Alchemist.
Really?
Yeah, I love the author, Paulo Coelho. And I've read like almost every one of his books. There's something about, there's like magic in each of his books. And I think it's really cool because I think magic exists in our world with like energy and just having positive energy. It can rub off on people. Like the magic in our world is energy, and it exists. And like having this positive energy that can rub off on people, that can rub off in a building and an atmosphere. Like when someone walks into River Valley, the positive energy, it just automatically uplifts them. Yes. They don't know why. I'm telling you why. It's the energy that's in the building that's real, that's given off by people. So the book, The Alchemist, is probably my favorite one. Yeah. It's a little bit of a dream, but I like it.
Every book that we've read together is not like a novel. It's like a leadership book, or it's like a business book. Yeah. But The Alchemist is a novel, right? It's just a story.
Yeah, it's a story.
I think I saw the movie. I can't remember.
Anyways, the Alchemist is a story, and it goes about a guy on a journey in his life. So it kind of talks about a life of a guy going to find his treasure. Yeah. So kind of being an exception. I do. Yeah, you are an exception, bro. I do believe in what you're saying. Like there's a spiritual realm that our eyes can't see that's more real than the natural realm that our eyes can see. And a lot of that stuff that happens in the spiritual realm, some of it's not in our control, but some of it is in our control, like in regards to the words that we say, the praise that we give, the energy that we put out to people, the love that we give.
the atmosphere of a room. Like, I think that's one of the big, like, as I think as a pastor, like building church, like that's one of the biggest things in making people feel welcome, like you said, is like you have to care about the atmosphere of a room. Like, and it's down to how the natural stuff works out too. Like, what does the room look like? What are there people here ready to welcome people in? Like, do they got smiles on their faces? Are they hugging people? Are they giving out free like everything that happens in the natural realm can play into what happens in a spiritual realm as well. But so anyways, I just wanted to affirm that, like, it's not like feng shui, just karma. Like, it's not just like, but it's like there's a real spiritual realm, and people feel that. Like, there's places you go and it's just dark. It just feels like there might be lights on the room, but like you walk into a place and it doesn't feel welcoming. It doesn't feel loving. You feel unsafe. You feel,
it doesn't feel like home.
Yeah, totally.
I'm telling you, I got that feeling when I was at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to describe that feeling, but like I just kind of walked on the campus and I was like, you just get that, like, and I'm telling you, I love the people at Notre Dame, great people. You just, like, I learned that over the 4 years, like the people make this place great. There's something magic. There's some kind of magic here that like just uplifts everyone. Like, I mean,
it's so good.
And it's all around us. We just have to, we have to create it. We have to,
we like
be mindful of it and know that we can create those things. We can, it exists. It does. It's real. It exists. So.
I'm with you. Second question and final question would be, if you had to give one person just one piece of advice that's following in your footsteps. So it might be young business dude, might be young football player, it might be somebody that was raised in a Muslim family, somebody that was raised in a military family. Like, speak to whoever you want to speak to, but one piece of advice that you give them that would help them. What would it be?
One piece of advice? Ooh, that's tough. I would say, I want to say like keep fighting, but the one word I would say is just be persistent. Never give up. 1 million people are going to tell you can't do something. They'll try to shoot down your dreams. And then there'll be 1 million people that'll build you up and tell you can do it, but you got to kind of stay persistent on that even playing field. Work hard, be confident in yourself, but kind of how we talked about earlier between confidence and arrogance, like you have to be confident, but confident that you're going to be better tomorrow. Not confident that, I was so great yesterday and last year, because that doesn't matter.
Correct.
Those things are long gone.
Correct.
You got to be confident that tomorrow I'm going to be the best. Tomorrow's going to be my day. It's made for me.
Yeah.
I think that'll get you, if I can give you any advice, that's the best one. Just
wake up every day,
say,
tomorrow's made for me.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Yo, thanks for being here.
Hey, I appreciate it, man.
I love you, bro.
I love you, man.
I love you, bro.
I appreciate the
man.
time.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this, we'd love for you to subscribe to this channel. We've got new episodes releasing every single week. We'd also love to hear your questions or comments. You can comment below. You can also find us on Instagram at Exception Podcast. And I want to give a quick shout out to our producer, Tissel. My name's Kirk Graham, and we'll see you back next week.